how did Music House come about? How did you or whoever start it, and why?
It started, well, the owner, Chris Hansen, he was in a band called Black Slate back in the 70s and 80s. And he could see the decline of the touring and the band stuff and the band members and all the politics and all that in the band. So he, I think he sold his car and he bought a mono cutting machine to start cutting dubs, and that's where it started from. It started in his house and then on to other things.
But was that like, it started just in his house and then moved on to like Eden Grove and that kind
No,
of thing?
he started off in his house in Edmonton, and then he was in his house for a couple of years cutting for different sound systems, and then he moved from Edmonton to Finsbury Park. There's a Kentucky in Finsbury Park. He used to be on top of the Kentucky in a little roof, and he was there for probably about five years, something like that.
How did you get involved? How did you come into it?
Well, my dad used to work here, so me being a child and always wanted to be around my dad, I used to come down to the place in Finsbury Park and see what they were doing. Didn't know I wanted to be involved then, but I just liked being around studios. I grew up around studios. And how I started here is when I was 19, I started going to the studio in Tottenham, Holloway, where you'd been. And I saw them drum and bass DJs there, or jungle DJs there, and I had to get involved.
Well, that kind of leads on to, like, can you tell us a little bit about that period, like, you know, what it was like when you first started, who was coming, what was going on? Because that seems to be like the legendary kind of, when you say Music House to most people, or certainly most people that I know coming from a sort of pirate radio background, that's like, as soon as you mention Music House, it's like, oh my god.
Who was coming? Who wasn't coming?
Everybody,
Everybody was coming. All the drum and bass DJs, jungle DJs, a lot of the house DJs, even some of the American US house DJs. We had a lot of reggae sound systems. Most of the people, you got to remember, it was all for CDs. So if you was a big DJ and you was playing records, you cut dubs, you'd probably come to us or JTS, or well, it was only really us and JTS that was really cutting most of the time.
And then latterly there was like Transition
and the other places.
But I mean, I remember, like, from me, it was like that was the thing that you kind of aimed to, was getting some dubs cut at Music House. Like, I went from listening to pirate radio, being a young teenager at home, to going raving, to playing on radio, to then making my own tunes, and then like, I'm going to go to Music House and get it cut. But it was like a rite of passage, I guess, at that point.
What kind of like a rite of passage? Like, you could always come there.
You just rock up, but maybe you might have to wait an hour.
You'd have to wait a couple of hours, more than a couple. But it's like, if you remember back then, like, there was like a hierarchy kind of thing
totally.
in that scene, where you could come there as a nobody and no one would talk to you. But if you come in and put in your tune and it was a big tune, then you got everybody's your friend, and everybody wants to cut your music.
But then, I mean, like, that's kind of like, it's almost gone into myths and legends status, that kind of era. Like, you know, the amount of tunes that you must have had pass through there, like, probably almost everything that's in half of my record collection probably passed through there at one point.
I would say probably from when I started in 95. Late 95 I started. So the whole of 95 to 95 to 2001, 2000. We probably, most of the jungle and drum and bass come from us. Not most mastering, but dubs.
Just dub cutting.
The rave scene, it was all through us.
But what sort of happened after that period sort of faded out, and I mean, like, why did you end up moving from there, and what sort of business was going on? What happened when all that kind of, because most of them boys all ended up moving on to CDs, CDRs, CDJs.
It's technology, like, as you know, in that scene, everybody just follows technology. When the EMU come out, everybody went and bought EMU. Probably when the Mackie come out, everybody went and bought a Mackie. The CDJs come out, they didn't jump on it straight away, but eventually, little by little, certain big DJs start jumping on it, and that a lot of the scenes are just a lot of followers. There's not a lot of leaders. So if they see their favourite DJ playing CDs,
they're
just going to go and start playing CDs till near enough everybody plays CDs now.
So what happened to like the customer base? What kind of people? I mean, because if all them boys faded out, who were you then?
Well, we was always cutting everything else. Like everybody just thought that we was just cutting jungle. It wasn't.
But no, I mean, like you've always cut like sort of
reggae,
dub and
reggae, soul, calypso, everything dance music we've cut, or rave music.
Yeah. So that client base kind of stayed, but
the jungle lot they didn't move because when we moved from Holloway, because Arsenal were outside of the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we all had to move. We moved from Holloway to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Some of them moved. They stopped coming before we moved.
Yeah.
Most of them stopped coming. We only had a few like Groove Riders still used to cut with us. Swift still used to cut with us. I only remember that because they're the ones that's been here.
Yeah.
So when we moved from Holloway to here, we didn't really cut a lot of jungle. We only had a few jungle DJs, but we still had the garage DJs, like the grime, the Wileys, and all them sorts. So that scene had taken off, and we were still busy doing that, and all the other customers still.
Cool. So, what's your main client base now? Is it still kind of the same? Is it still the same guys coming through? Or
no,
like
it's mostly reggae.
Yeah.
You still see one or two of the old customers from now and again when they want to cut some dubs, but it's mostly reggae. Most of the root sounds, the people are still playing dubs, still using turntables.
Yeah, and the odd person like myself.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the future? Do you think that it holds much?
I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I keep doing what I'm doing. This is our building, this is all our equipment. Like, if I can't be, if it's not paying the bills, I'll go and find another job to do this so I can do this. You know.
But I mean, like the guys that've been cutting those kind of plays, like the reggae and the soul boys, they're all still going to keep doing it forever, probably, aren't
they? Yeah, until they pass on.
yeah.
But it seems like there's going to be a stage where it's going to stop because there isn't enough young people that's want to get involved.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, do you have? I mean, because if you still got all those older client base that are still hanging on, is there a second wave coming? Is there a new, or is there not just?
Not really. No. It's unless I train up someone to take over from me. It's on me. It's on me. But there is other places that cut, and people are still pressing all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, when I was sort of searching out. I mean, because I have very specific reasons why I want to cut plates. So, I mean, it's not just the sort of cultural side of it. There is a very specific reason to do my music or whatever. But when I was searching out online, there's a lot of places that offer these kind of they call them dub plates, but it's like plastic. One of vinyl plastic thing, which isn't quite the same thing.
No, it's not. The quality is getting better now.
Yeah,
but it's never going to be the same as this.
No, I mean, like I had a couple done. I'm not going to say where, but I had a couple done, and just like the volume level and the bass response, just not the same thing. But I think for a lot of people, they think, because it will last longer, therefore it's better. And it's like, well, no. I mean, for me, the whole point of cutting plates is that they don't last forever, and that they're this ever constantly changing thing, and you can test stuff out. And
well, that's what it is. It's a test of your track, so how it's going to sound when it's playing on records, but also on turntables.
But also, it makes you, because I mean, it's not exactly cheap. I mean, it's not really expensive, but it's not exactly cheap, like 25 quid for a plate. So you've got to be sure that you're happy with that tune.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a really good quality control thing. That's the way I see it. It's like getting plates cut was like a really good quality control, because you've got to be confident in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you can test it out.
Yeah,
and then see how it goes.
That's now though.
Yeah.
That's now.
Yeah.
Back Holloway days, there was no confidence. There was a lot of addiction. Yeah. I want to be at Music House. I want to cut a dub. It didn't matter who. Some people had good tunes. A lot of people had a lot of rubbish.
Yeah. Well, like, when I first come up there, the tunes I was cutting was rubbish. Definitely.